Welcome to the Glass Mechanics online training series. Today we're excited to talk to you about the Daytona windshield repair system. We're going to talk about our components, features, and functionality of each component in the system. We're also going to do a couple repairs and go through some techniques that some technicians have questions about in the day-to-day business. So first thing we're going to start with is our flagship product. It's our Daytona windshield repair system. This allows us to do everything we need to do in the repair by removing air out of the brake and putting our carbon-based acrylic resin to fill the brake. The technology in our windshield repair system is very simple. We have a set screw on the side of our injector body. That set screw is a guide for our piston that allows us to pull air out of the brake. And on the pressure cycle down, this tapered seal allows us to push down, push resin in, while the air from the bridge is actually removed out of the top of the brake. When you're putting your piston back into the bridge, you want to make sure that the set screw hole is lined up with your coarse threading in the injector piston, and make sure your set screw just slides right into the valley of that rope threading. That allows you to put pressure in, vacuum out. You don't have to worry about anything falling out of the bridge. The body of the bridge assembly has a couple different features that allow you for quick repairs. You apply the bridge with one hand over the top of the brake. On the sides you have two leveling screws that allow you to adjust the body of the bridge depending on the curvature of the glass. And if you're not directly lined up over the top of the brake, you can actually loosen the center locking nut, adjust it while it's over the brake to get a perfect fit over the impact point. We have our Daytona windshield repair system with our flagship Daytona bridge system. We also have a rapid set bridge. Rapid set bridge allows you to use the same injector as a Daytona windshield repair system, and it just slides into the base plate. But instead of having a Woods power pump, you're actually going to have a suction cup that suctions over the top of the glass and one stabilizing leg. Although the rapid set works really well for a lot of mobile technicians, some of the features that are different between the rapid set and the regular Daytona bridge are the range of motion is a little bit limited, because you only have one stabilizing leg, and with Daytona 2 you have two stabilizing legs, plus the security of the bridge on the glass itself with the Woods power pump is much stronger. However, this is a good option for people that are not looking to do windshield repair at a full-time basis but are looking to just add it to their business. Another key component in the Daytona windshield repair system is actually the resin. We use a carbon-based acrylic UV resin that allows us to pull the air out of the brake, fill in the damaged area, and it actually acts as a tack weld, making that part of the windshield stronger than the rest of the windshield. This is Proline 2, the thicker viscosity resin used for large air gaps and bullseyes. This is Proline resin, thinner viscosity resin used for tight legs and small impact points. Once we've put the pit fill on, we're going to scrape it with the razor blade and make sure it's clear and flush to the glass. Our biggest chance to really wow a customer at the end is to make sure that we polish the pit fill to make sure the optical clarity of the pit fill and the brake is as close to glass as possible. We're going to use pit polish and a cork for that process. In your Daytona system, one of the key things is creating access to the air. A lot of times we'll use a probe or a pick. Some people prefer drilling. We have our battery pack, and each customer has two choices, either round or tapered drill bits. There are three tools that come in the Daytona windshield repair system. You have a rock chip maker that you'll use for creating breaks and practicing on a broken windshield. You have your cleaning brush used for cleaning the inside of the injector at the end of the day or after each repair, depending on how often you use your system. And then you have your probe. The probe is used to creating access to the air or flexing certain legs that are tight to allow resin to flow nicely to the end of each leg. In each system you also have the magnifying loop. The magnifying loop adds a level of professionalism. As you show up to a customer and you're using your loop, the customer understands that you know what you're doing, and what you're doing with the loop is actually looking at tight legs or inspecting the damage to see if there's anything that's not going to fill completely. While you're doing repairs out in the sun, you want to make sure you prevent premature curing of the resin. Remember, the resin is a UV cure resin, so it's going to cure if the sunlight hits it during the vacuum or pressure cycles. So one thing you want to do is protect the bridge and the brake from the sun. This is the UV shade used to prevent premature curing. This is the spot mirror that you place on the inside of the windshield to create a 360-degree angle of the brake. This is the Mylar curing tabs. There's 25 in this pack, and they go over the top of the pit fill, allowing you to scrape a clear, flush repair. You have your UV curing lamp with the 110 plug, or you have a 12-volt plug. Safety is a big deal. You have 100 rubber safety gloves. You also have your safety glasses. Thanks so much for joining us today at Glass Mechanics Training Solutions. We've gone through the features and all the functionality of the Daytona windshield repair system and all the components.